of life. The Todd Starnes Commentary.
President Obama was in Africa today, speaking at the Nelson Mandela Memorial Service, introduced to adoring crowds as a, quote, son of African soil. The president urged the world to search for Mandela's strength somewhere inside ourselves, verbiage normally reserved when referring to the Almighty. But the national newswires were more interested in the implications of a handshake between the president and Raul Castro, the communist leader of Cuba. President Obama pulled out all the stops for Nelson Mandela's memorial, quite the contrast to his handling of Margaret Thatcher's death, the Iron Lady, one of America's closest allies. She was all but ignored. Not a single high-ranking administration official attended her funeral. Some might call President Obama's behavior downright shameful. I'm Todd Starnes.
Thank you, Todd Starnes. Welcome back. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, 1-888-589-8840. The question is Rand Paul a Scrooge? Or is he the Grinch? Oh, they already used that with Gingrich, and I guess they're just going to go with the Scrooge Award. Well, yesterday evening, last night, a.k.a., on the network that Martin Bashir resigned from. I don't believe he was fired, was he? No. Anyway, MSNBC. Andrea Mitchell posed a question to Ruth Marcus, Washington Post columnist. Here's what Rand Paul started to say, and then we'll play the clip. And if I'm not mistaken, please make sure it's the Rand Paul clip that's cued. Here it is. I do support. Okay, here's the question. At the same time, speaking of unemployment, emergency unemployment benefits, this is Andrea Mitchell speaking, they've got members of Congress got to decide what to do about extending unemployment insurance. And Ruth Marcus, Rand Paul, let's hear what Rand Paul has to say about unemployment benefits. And he starts by saying, I do support unemployment benefits for 26 weeks that they're paid for. If you extend beyond that, you do a disservice to the workers. There was a study that came out a few months ago, and it said if you have a worker that has been unemployed for 4 weeks and on unemployment insurance and one that's on 99 weeks, which would you hire? Every employer, nearly 100%, said they will always hire the person who's been out of work for 4 weeks. Roll it.
When you allow people to be on unemployment insurance for 99 weeks, you're causing them to become part of this perpetual unemployed group in our economy.
That's sort of breathtaking, Ruth. It's the unemployment insurance that creates the, quote, dependency.
Can you say Scrooge? Yes, thank you for letting me have at it. My mouth dropped open when I heard that. It is absolutely true that being unemployed for a long time is a very bad thing in terms of your prospects.
It becomes harder to get a job.
But I would like to find one person out there who has been collecting unemployment for this long time who would not welcome the chance in this holiday season, I might point out, to have their benefits extended because they are in a terrible situation, as the senator pointed out, and he just wins my Scrooge Award of the year.
We may have to keep that award open until Congress gets out of town.
Now, yesterday we did cover a great deal to do with unemployment, the extension of it, how it will create more of those that are unemployed. A study of when people started to look for a job is when they were in weeks of losing their unemployment benefits. And when making these statements, I'll make this clear because there can be a knee-jerk reaction to say, Crane, if somebody doesn't have a job and you cut off their money supply, where do they go? Well, I would say the local community, and that's our job as the church, as organizations, and being salt and light. I have a real problem with criticizing Senator Paul, who has made a comment that is factually correct and also goes to the idea that somehow you're not compassionate unless you extend benefits monies coming from the federal government. What about those in need? You take care of those in need, but not this way. It's not efficient. There are also other ways to do it. And there's a host of ways that people can spur economic growth. So let me ask you, do you believe that Rand Paul is a Scrooge? 1-888-589-8840. Gary in the great state of Mississippi. Gary, welcome back. Is this you, Gary? Gary?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Yeah, Crane, I would say that he is a Scrooge. I just hate to say that because I've been through the same thing with my unemployment status.
Mm-hmm.
Our plant shut down back in 2004, and I went through a hard time too. And I just feel like, people don't need to do without. I understand that people need to work if they eat, but we carried this a little bit too far. I think what Mr. Rand needs to be doing, it is Rand Paul, isn't it?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. Yeah,
Senator.
all of us need to be working on a solution to the health care problem, and we need to take the politics out of it.
Okay, but let's stick with this, Gary, because I appreciate your point of view. And when it comes to when you're keying in on is saying helping people in need, and I agree with you, we need to help those in need, but it's how we do it. And that's where we go into an extension to 99 weeks, which we have not seen until the latest recession, and the extension of these that were emergency benefits. And I think it's 3 days either before or after Christmas that these run out, and it's a terrible time of year to do this. But then you ask yourself, well, how much longer can we do this? And what does it do? I would say there are a number of ways to spur economic growth. First and foremost, repeal Obamacare. You could also pass the pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline. But let's look with what reality is, because politics is the art of what is possible. Otto von Bismarck, if I'm not mistaken. Bottom line, we are learning the lesson that Obamanomics, the policies that he has put forth, be it the stimulus, be it Obamacare, be it Dodd-Frank, be it the regulations that people are facing, or raising taxes on the top 2%, is not something that's going to incentivize production. You need to produce in order to consume. And so I would focus in on those things. And I would also do something else. I would also empower local organizations. And as I took the federal government out, I would empower them more, either through their tax treatment or otherwise. That said, Gary, I'll give you the final word, my friend. Go ahead.
Well, Crane, if we depend on our churches to feed the poor, we're in deep trouble because our churches are on the decline. And I don't mind, as a taxpayer of this country, paying for some little child to be able to eat their supper at night. And,
well, when you put it that way, I don't think anybody does, Gary. I mean, everybody wants children to eat.
I know that, Crane, but
yes, sir.
But
go ahead.
I mean, really stop and think about the situation. Listen, we're going to win the next election coming in 2016. The Republicans are.
What do you mean?
And we need to quit politicizing and start solving problems.
I got you, Gary. I always appreciate you, and if I don't speak with you till after the new year, you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too, Crane.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
Sir. Thank you.
All right. Let's keep going, and let's address this with... All right. Let's go to Lance in Texas. Lance, 1-888-589-8840. Answering the question, is Rand Paul a Scrooge for not extending unemployment benefits beyond, the emergency unemployment benefits beyond 27 weeks?
Yeah,
Lance?
Crane.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I guess my position is that no, I don't think Rand Paul is a Scrooge, but the issue that we have, especially as conservatives, is that we often come across as Scrooges because when we present our argument is not articulated and put forward in such a way that we win the compassion battle.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the issue, and that's the issue that facts, F-A-C-T-S, run up against when it's trying to be presented. Facts run up against the compassion issue, and oftentimes we lose that battle. What we need to do as we object to some of the things, and I agree, and I am as conservative as they come, when we disagree with what's going forward, especially from the liberal side, that in conjunction with our objection, that we come forward with some kind of plan to say this is what we are going to do, as Rand Paul has done with the situation in Detroit. So, no, I don't think he's a Scrooge, but I do think that we've run up against this issue of compassion. And it does sound like we are not compassionate. And you can't get around that part of it, but we have to get around it.
Yeah, we do. And I think that is, Lance, in the sense of the communication of understanding, it's not that we don't want something to happen. It's just how it happens, how it takes place. And if somebody's looking at how to distribute a program or administer a program, we can say, would you like 30 cents on the dollar or 60 to 90 cents on the dollar to actually get to the service? And that is the choice between government versus the private sector in the sense of, or individual churches and private organizations.
And Craig, let me just say one other thing. I agree with you 100%, because the minute that $1 goes to Washington, well, we know 70 cents of that $1 is going to get dispersed through the bureaucracy. Yes. And maybe a smaller percentage will get to the actual recipient. That's the problem with routing monies through Washington. And to address something that was said in one of your earlier calls, the issue, nobody would object to a kid being fed at night or going hungry at night. The question, the issue becomes that while that kid, how much did it cost us to have that kid fed? Privately, we could have done that for a fraction of the cost of what Washington does. Take less money out of our pocket. We have more money to go into charitable and charitable giving. That's the issue.
You just hit it out of the park. I can't say anything more than thank you. It's great to be with you, my friend.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate the call.
Always. Thank you. Okay, we go now to, let's go to, is it Tells? All right. Tells.
Yeah, I was just wondering, in a family, I have Catholics, who pray to Mary, Pentecostals who believe you got to speak in tongues, glossolalia.
Okay, we're up against the break, and that wasn't really going to a place where we were on topic, but I appreciate your phone calls, and as well as if you want to get in on the topic, you can go to the Facebook page, because I just posted the question. And you can see the video, so it's neat. American Family Radio, Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. And as we head into the break, I don't hear the music, though. Is the music now? Okay, all right, my apologies. My clock, have you ever had your clock not work? What do you mean, Crane? My batteries have faded, so I'm looking at a clock that's faded, and I'm trying to figure out the numbers. That's all on me. And Brent's been kind enough to walk me through it. Thank you, my friend. What we're going to do on the flip side, after American Family News, and I think Chad Groening and Chris Woodward and Charlie Buzz and the team are knocking that out. So you'll get up to speed on all top stories, American Family News, onenewsnow.com. Then on the flip side, I've got a treat. I've got, big time guest, Ron Shank. JJ and Ron, we're talking Christmas music, the challenges for Christian artists in a secular music world, as well as some good things that actually take place from secular artists during Christmas season. That and much more. For Durham's Nothing But Truth. AFR Talk.